Hey everybody, welcome back for yet another wonderful adventure with me, your host, Onyx-Golem. So today we're going to go ahead and talk about the Kulve Taroth, if I'm saying that right. I'm going to go ahead and explain some of the overall siege mechanics, principles. I'll go ahead and give a quick breakdown of his weaknesses, some of his battle styles, as well as the gear and loot drops. Let's see. So the first thing we're going to go to is our hunter's notes. Go check out this field guide. Now he does have a 4-star research level, so it really doesn't take too long. I think it took me an hour and a half total to max out all 4 levels of the research. You can see here some of his weaknesses. He's okay. He can be poisoned, put to sleep, and paralyzed. I've done all. Sleep is actually nicer from what I've seen compared to most of the other monsters that you run into. I put him to sleep earlier, and basically his sleep animation is quite lengthy, so you can get quite a bunch of damage off in that duration. You can also see under the elements that he does have a huge shift between when he's covered in gold and when you break all the gold off of his body. So yeah, you can see there, highly weak to thunder, but then when you break the gold off, he's pretty much resistant. Water seems to be really the only solid 2-star go-around. Dragon, though, also seems to be pretty nice. Now you can break his tail, both of his front legs, both of his back legs, his back, and his horns have multiple phases. The first one you can break off, like you can see the gold plating off of his horns, which then you can also carve from. I think you get 3 carves from it'll say like Kulve Taroth's gold. You can carve from it, and then the overall mission objective and completion will be when you destroy his horns in general. You can also see a ton of the loot drops that inspire here, as well as you can see under carves where it says melded, dissolved, and sublimated. You'll get those, and then when the completion's all over, it will basically same thing with decorations. It'll identify them and roll them for you. All the melded weapon ones will come out as rarity 6 weapons. The dissolved weapons will come out as rarity 7 weapons, and the sublimated weapons will come out as your rarity 8 variants. Also, these Kulve Taroth golden glintstones, that's pretty much his gem, except for you only use it on, I believe, the gloves and waist. The boots require Valhazak, and then the chest is Xenojiva, and then you have the Nergigante for the headpieces. So you'll need various gems to complete the whole set. Now moving on to gear real quick. Now here in the gear you can see, like, I got the Taroth Arrow Thunder, rarity 8, so is that sublimated that rolled out. It does have a hidden element, has a nice slot. Overall, it's pretty sweet. Then I think I have, the Taroth Pipe, which I believe I also have the lower one too. Yeah, so you can tell they're actually different in appearance as well between your rarity like 5, 6, 7, and 8s. But again, so it's nice, but it's not. So it's easy weapons. I got lucky, got the Thunder Bow right off the bat, which is pretty much what I would have wanted. The only other one I'd like would probably be the Insect Glaive, which I don't believe. Yeah, I do, right there, Claw Golden. But otherwise, you don't upgrade them. You don't have to craft them. They are a loot drop from defeating the overall siege. Now let's... Okay, stop talking to me, dude. Now again, for armor, there are 2 armor sets that come from here. You got your Taroth A and your Taroth B. the different sets. Let's see. The major differences are the belt's a little different. You have that cool sword hanging down. If you have belt B, you'll get like a nice little drop down behind your waist. Gloves and legs don't really look that much different. The chest piece does have obviously a noticeable difference depending on what style you like, and so does the helm. The other major differences are obviously going to be the normal. You're going to drop one skill point and get nicer gem slots. So as you can see here, the full set, Bravo, has some good gem slots. Alpha still has some decent gems, but it also has some pretty nice skills that come with it. I mean, I personally, with a bow, handicraft's not as important to me. One reason I went with Bravo. But it is another good variant to get your free element up ability. So if you have the helmet, the gloves, and the waist, you unlock the full free element. So that's also really nice. The fact it's rarity 8 and already has defense at 72 is also a nice perk. Again, you can see here, Valhazak gem for the legs. You only need that Glimstone for the gloves and waist, Xenojiva gem, and Nergagane gem. Now, you also have 2 Palico outfits that you can get. Let's see, so you got your first one here, which is kind of nifty. He gets a little fan, as you can tell, like a battle fan. Then he gets this weird, like, glimmering, goldish looking little cat outfit. So basically it looks like a super fluffy, like, lion cat. The other one you get from these Bushi tickets, and Bushi tickets are a drop from the overall completion. So when you complete the overall objective and it gives you your rewards at the end, you'll get Bushi tickets. I've only fully completed it twice now and I already got 8, so they're not that difficult. I'm not personally a fan of the Samurai Cat set, but I do like the sword. It's kind of cool. But that's what you got over there for the Palico. Now, as for breakdown for how the mission itself works, you do have to find a couple pieces at first. So, like, the best way to go is go about doing that. Go to the ancient forest, just run around, find like a couple. I found 2 and just bailed of his tracks. And then when you come back to town, I forget what his name is, but basically dude stands right there as soon as you load in, and you'll talk to him and he'll basically go through a little cutscene explaining this guy and the history behind it or whatever. And then you can come up here to the gathering hub, and this is actually where you'll activate the quest or join other players. It can be up to 16 players that kind of help each other out. Now, what they actually mean by that, let me see if I can. You'll talk to this lady, obviously. And you'll see here, Kulve, Taroth, Seige. Now you see on the right it says Pursuit Level, Scout Fly Guidance, Time Remaining, and Part Break Ability. The time remaining obviously would be your time limit. Part Break Ability, I'm assuming, is how easily it is, because if you go in and you break parts, and then you fail or whatever, and you get kicked out and you have to go back in, you'll continue fighting the same one until the overall siege is completed. And so if you break certain parts, it'll be easier to break in subsequent attempts, from what I understand, from what I've seen from it. Also, your Scout Fly, at the first time, he can actually jump through basically crawl through these little paths and go to another one, so you have to relocate him half a dozen times. But if you pick up all the tracks, then if you have to keep going in, or if another team joins later, the Scout Fly Guidance will work for them as well and make it a lot easier to find and keep up with the Kulve Taroth. Now, you also see that you can scan to the right, and you got 2 pages here, and those are your objectives. Now, the primary objective you see there is Giant Horns Completely Broken, worth 500 points. When that objective is completed, then the siege will be complete and you'll collect rewards. So one reason you want multiple teams is to try to get all of the objectives done. The more objectives you complete, the higher your reward level. I believe I know it can go up to 15. I'm not sure if it hits 16. I haven't actually seen all of them completed, but I know I've seen almost all. And we were at 15 the first time and just under 15 the second. The pursuit level, I won't lie, I don't 100% know exactly what that is. I think it has something to do with the more you actually basically encounter him, attack him, and do more damage to him. And you can see here you have different pursuit levels reached as objectives, breaking different pieces between right legs, left legs, hind and fore, tail, breaking the gold plating off his horn, then chipping his horns. The Kulve Taroth released is basically when you break, from what I understood, is when you actually break all of the gold plating off of his body and he'll basically be stripped and naked. Then that's when we generally hit that objective, from what I understand. Now again, when you're all done, like you'll see here, it says begin and join. The first person who hits begin, I believe, is the one will fully activate and initiate the overall siege. Joining just means you can join the team that's already out, but anybody else can hit begin and start a new squad going out. So you could have 3 people, 4 people right off the bat hit begin, all start 4 squads, and then subsequent people can join them. And again, each person, the damage they deal to him, parts they break, the overall objective, that's how you can complete it. When it's all done, obviously obtain rewards will be up, and it'll tell you when you come back. And after it's been completed, it'll let you know that you can hit your rewards. When you go to your reward screen, basically it's just going to pop up right in the center with a bunch of the different loot items you might have got, like and they'll all have question marks just like decorations, and you have to identify them. So you'll get various parts from him, or you'll get those Bushi tickets, and that's where you'll see like your melded weapons and stuff. After that, it'll take you to a second screen where you then can identify all of the melded weapons and like melded and whatever the other ones were. And that's where you'll actually obtain your weapons. Overall, that's the Kulve Taroth Siege in a nutshell, how all your loot rewards work and all of that. I'll try to get a video up in the next day or so of some actual gameplay and actual experience in the siege. Otherwise, he kind of breaks down into a couple different phases. He has his own unique location, which is cool. And there's a couple unique like pets you can get. Like there's a gold crab and a gold ant or something that you can actually capture, put those in your house. So that would be a limited time pet that you can find if you're interested in that. There's a lot of like gold nuggets and stuff you can find as trade in. So if you need some cash, this is also a pretty decent mission for that, or objective for that. But he basically has 4 regions. Each region will be kind of a different thing. On the first region, he just walks around and runs, doesn't really give a dang what you're doing, kind of just looks at you like a pest. That's a good one to just basically deal as much damage as you can. After you tick him off enough, he'll actually go to a second area, and that's when he'll actually start fighting you. The farther areas you go in, basically the more aggressive he'll become. He does kind of hit like a truck, uses a lot of fire. He also has basically your attack down debuff, so he can negate some of your attack damage. So if you want to watch out for that, go ahead. But otherwise, that's about it. Not much else I can really explain without showing you a little actual video footage of fighting him. If you like the video, feel free to subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to see in a future video, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I will do the best I can to get a video for you. And But other than that, hey, until next time, deuces.